What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Willie the Kid, and I'm back. So news just came down the wire. Golovkin Canelo 2 is gonna happen on Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Cinco de Mayo ese.
But I got two of my boys with me, man. 2K, the prodigy of boxing. How you doing, fam?
What's up, man? It's the most hated on YouTube and the most loved. Now, check that balance out.
That's a nice dynamic. And from Truth and Facts About Boxing, the grandfather. What's up, Bo?
What's going on, man? You goddamn right. Old, proud, and ready to raise some motherfucking hell like old people do.
Word up.
Damn right. So news came down. This shit is pretty much a done deal. Word is there's no rematch clause in this shit. So 2K, man, how you feel about this, man?
Hey, man, it's the fight that Canelo should have taken right now. I think Golovkin's getting ready to round 36 years old this year. I think Canelo's like, what, 27? I'm not looking at his box record or anything like that right now, but he's still a young man. He's under 30, so he's still in his. He's still. I think.
So go ahead.
Okay, he's still considered to be in his prime. You know what I'm saying in terms of boxing, but yeah, he should have took it right now, and he did. There was a little bit of situation prior, maybe a couple weeks back and a month back before Christmas, that it seemed that Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo were stalling, like they didn't want to, have this fight take place as soon as possible. And the way that both these fighters looked when they fought in September, it just seems like it would be in Canelo's best interest to take that fight now rather than wait till later, because as Golovkin gets older, he starts to show his flaws a lot more. They become more apparent, right? And maybe other guys at 160 like Jamal Charlo and hell, even Billy Ho. Matter of fact, let me give him his name back, Billy Joe. You know what I'm saying? He did good against David Lemieux. I'm gonna give him his name back for the time being. You know what I'm saying? Billy Joe. There was a time where I thought Golovkin was going to pulverize this motherfucker. You know what I mean? But the way Golovkin has looked in his last two fights, Billy Joe can actually cause problems for Golovkin. So, you know, the way I put it is Golovkin is Canelo's food. You know what I'm saying? The way I talked about Adonis Stevenson, how he was supposed to be Alida Alvarez's food and shit, but now he's Badu Jack's food. Well, that's what Golovkin is to Canelo. And I'm not saying Canelo's going to beat him. What I'm saying is that Golovkin is Canelo's meal ticket to greatness. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa, the other way around as well. You know, Canelo is Golovkin's food. So this is an excellent fight that should be taking place right now. And in my opinion, it favors Canelo as far as, you know, when we talk about the youth and the ability to be able to bounce back without needing so much time to recover. You know what I'm saying? So I'll break down this fight in a different video, but I'm just saying, as we look at those little logistics going into the fight, it favors Canelo right now.
Well,
hey man, there is not that much to add to what 2K said. Only thing we can get to is breaking down the fight, which of course we always do those in separate videos. But the reality is, this is probably the only fight that they should be looking to make right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't want to see nothing else. Nobody wants to see them fight anything else. So you'd be doing a huge disservice if you didn't make this fight right now. And outside of the fact that they probably feel like they had a lot of success in the last fight, so they feel more confident. See, all this tells me is now they feel confident. That's really all this was. Now they feel fucking confident. Now that they didn't test the waters, they feel confident. Daniel Jacobs was the same way. After he fought him, he said, shit, I'll fight him again.
Yeah.
Because now he felt confident. You know? So now that they didn't test the water, they said, wait a minute, this shit ain't what everybody was making out to be. And like we always say, yeah, because he was fighting, you know, B and C and B level class guys. So yeah, so now that they got in there, he saw the success he was having with connecting. He felt the power. It didn't wobble him or knock him down. And if it did, he did a good job of it. We saw Canelo's experience. We saw Canelo, you know, show that okay, he has a beard and expose some of those flaws. So that's all it is, man. They feel more confident. They like, hey, you know what? We ain't got it ready, man. Fuck it. Let's go right back into it. On top of the fact that they also made Golovkin wait as well. And kind of like, all right, we're gonna throw this together. And that way, it's kind of like a mind psyche game. We're gonna do this on our terms.
Mm-hmm.
That way we got the upper hand. So good fight, man. I'm glad it got made.
I mean, there was a lot of people doubting that this fight would get made. They were basically saying that Canelo was going to run away from it.
Right.
How you guys feel about that, man? Like the fact that it's done. It's January, and it's done for 5 months from now.
Yeah.
Working on that, Bo. Hold on. So that's done and that shit. And the fact that Canelo actually stepped up, probably asked for the rematch. Oscar was probably trying to delay this shit to September, man. I stood by that when they first fought. I said this shit probably won't happen again to September. But Canelo actually stepped up and did this. My guess is from the way you guys sound, you guys favor him at the moment. His age, he has a lot of good in-ring experience, and the fact that he fought him already. Is it because Canelo could do a lot more different things this time around than Golovkin can?
Well, I think, yeah, that's a good point you just made, and maybe that is probably the single most important reasoning for why a lot of people would go with Canelo in the second fight. It's just, the factor of youth. You know what I'm saying? You have a guy who can still has room, given his style and how young he is, to be able to add things to his style to make things better for him in the second time around, right? Whereas Golovkin, he's an old dog, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And to be honest with you, given Golovkin's style, you really wouldn't teach him anything new anyway. You know what I'm saying? You would maybe sharpen a couple of things, but you wouldn't really teach him anything new. And his age makes that much worse. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that Golovkin's going to go into a training camp and add to his style at this point in his career.
Right.
What he can do is he can become sharper than what he was in the first fight. But I think there are things in this fight that both fighters need to change. And I just feel that Canelo will have the ability to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I think for Canelo, for Golovkin, starting earlier than he did in this fight will probably be more important.
Yeah.
And then it didn't seem like he really got going to after like around the third or fourth round.
Yep.
He may want to go at it from the beginning. It will suit him to try to make this into more of a punch him, sock him type of fight than a boxing match. You know what I mean? First couple rounds, I felt like in the first fight he started off slow, and as the fight wore on, it was a very, very close fight, man. I talked. The hell you do? Hey, Bo, you okay back down over there, man? You fell or something?
That wasn't me.
That was 2K.
Nah.
That was Bo.
No, that wasn't me. Don't do me. That wasn't me.
So I think it would suit him to start right from the opening bell, man, because it was a very competitive, close fight, man. It was a really good fight, one of the best fights of the year. So, Bo, how you feel about that, man?
Well, here's the thing. I think the only thing, in my opinion, the number one thing Canelo needs to do is fucking get your conditioning right, man. Like, that's the only reason why the fight even was close, because Canelo would start off strong in the first half of the round, but he would let Golovkin in the second half of the round. And it was given the illusion, because a lot of people, when they judge fight, the illusion of a guy coming forward and a guy going back, they feel that the guy coming forward is the cat that won. Okay?
That's true.
And that's kind of the biggest illusion in boxing. It's called effective aggressiveness.
Absolutely.
All right? So let's get that out the way. But Canelo showing, he was vividly showing he was tired also, which gave the illusion that, okay, Golovkin must be winning. When in fact, at times when Canelo actually put himself up against the ropes, you niggas like that, Canelo? You niggas like that?
Canelo.
You niggas like that, Canelo? You niggas like? I gotta slow myself down to say the shit, asshole.
Canelo.
But you know, old folks say shit, the names wrong and shit.
Hell yeah.
That's true.
But but he would put himself up against the ropes, and Golovkin couldn't pounce on him like he could previous fighters, because Canelo was doing little subtle things. So number one, work on your conditioning. Now, as far as I agree with 2K. Golovkin is an old dog that you can't teach new tricks to. Meaning is he can go into training camp and all the things that you're talking about, Will.
Yeah.
But we won't see that difference, because it, like a lot of things I hear that he does in training camp, I don't see that when in the ring. I've interviewed Darnell Boone, and the things Darnell Boone has told me, I'm like, okay, I don't see that in the ring when he fights.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So but my whole thing is, who you think has to make more adjustments?
Golovkin. For sure, Golovkin has to make. Canelo only in my opinion, he only needs to make one adjustment: your fucking conditioning. That's it. Golovkin has to make.
I think his conditioning, and he needs to. He can't fight on his back foot the entire fight. He can't do that.
He has to at one point or another bite down.
Yeah, and we said that. We said that in one of our prediction videos before the first fight.
Yeah,
he's got to keep the fight in the middle of the ring, and he's got to wait and allow Golovkin to try to give openings that Canelo can exploit with his counter punching. Particularly, I would like to see more the counter uppercut. He hit him with that a few times while he was on his back foot, but when Canelo's on his back foot, he doesn't generate the same kind of power. Now, it was enough. It was enough to sting Golovkin to the point where Golovkin didn't want to go to the body like he would have normally, right? I mean, the motherfucker was literally headhunting the entire fight because he was afraid of getting counterpunched if he actually lowered his depth and went to the body, right? But I still would like to see Canelo do that do more of that while he's in the middle of the ring holding his ground instead of moving backwards and finding his back on the ropes and then shooting it. No. You see what I'm saying? Also, I like to see him go to Golovkin's body. That's one thing that I've noticed about Golovkin for like 2 years now, maybe even longer, that he does not like it to the body. Hell, nobody really likes it to the body, but people are able to defend against it, right? People are able to make adjustments when it happens. Golovkin is not that type of fighter. He is actually very vulnerable to the body, and I want to see him go there.
Hey, I'd like to welcome to the panel Bernard. Detective.
What's up, Willie?
What's going on, bro?
What up?
We're here with 2K and Mr. Bo Bland, aka Grandpa.
That's right. Y'all motherfuckers be blessed to get this goddamn old and still have all your faculties.
Hey, no doubt.
Hey, well, I don't know about you having all your brain cells, but okay. Those
are not faculties, motherfuckers.
Bernard, what's your feeling on this fight coming down and the fact that they got it done early, man?
I believe it was already probably set behind closed doors, you know.
Yeah, it was.
They had to run that back. You know what I'm saying? It was a draw. Even though I think what took it out of a great fight, in my opinion, was the bullshit card from the judge.
The one, what was the scorecard? The 118, 110 or some shit like that?
For Golovkin?
For Canelo. What's that name? Judge Bird.
Oh, Adelaide Bird. My bad. Yo, it was Teddy Atlas that had it the other way around for Golovkin. My bad.
He had it what? 118, 110, Teddy?
For Golovkin. Yeah.
That was not a 118, 110 fight either way.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I still think it's an even fight, in my opinion, from what I saw. I had it 115, 113 Canelo winning. I think 2K same thing as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Bo, what did you have it as? I know Willie had it 115, 113 Triple G.
Yeah.
I had it.
Bo can't remember.
No, I had it. I think I had it 115, 113 for Canelo.
I had it 115, 113 Golovkin.
Damn, all three of us had Canelo. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I feel very confident saying that and not disputing your scorecard.
Oh no,
because it's that kind of fight.
It could have went either way.
But yeah, I explained it through using the judging criteria how it could come out as a draw, and I also could see how Golovkin could have won. You know, there was several swing rounds in that bout.
It was such a good fight that 2K could attest to this. We done videos after our fight, and like while we're doing the video, I shoot him my score, and he's like, "Yeah, that's the same way I scored it."
Yep.
And the fact that I had it the same scorecard he had, but he had it one way and I had it another way, tells you everything you need to know about how close of a fight this really was.
Yes, sir.
What do you think made people cry robbery? Was it that judge's scorecard? Because I think a lot of people get confused between close and robbery.
Damn, let me murder that. That's a good question. That's a good question.
I'm about to say I want in on that one too because I got something to say about that shit.
Well, I'm gonna break it down like this. Wait. I'm gonna let 2K go first. Bo go second, and Bernard, you could go right after them too. Go ahead, 2K.
Yeah, Bernard, you can get the table scraps, nigga. Anyway, but
I can't get dessert. I'm going for the dessert.
Nah, but it's mainly one thing, and I'm this is the first thing that popped in my head, and I know I'm gonna say what both of these other gentlemen were gonna say as well. But
don't say gentlemen because that's not what you were gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to pause and shit like.
Damn. Can a motherfucker get professional for a second?
My bad.
Motherfucker.
All right. Well, these other punk bitch made motherfuckers was gonna say this too, but the main reasoning is because, and Bo alluded to it a little bit earlier, a lot of people are mistaking any type of aggression for effective aggression.
Right.
That is why you got cats, and I hate to say it because I respect the fuck out of Teddy Atlas. You know what I'm saying? I really do, and I used to always try to tell cats that, yo, this is one of the more brilliant minds in boxing.
But as his mind the last couple of years. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, as of recent times, though, man, he's been doing some crazy shit. If he's not commentating ridiculously, he's got motherfuckers on his pound for pound list that shouldn't be there. Right. His behavior has been a little odd recently, you know what I'm saying? And him saying 118, 110 in this fight tells me that he was mistakenly thinking that Golovkin's aggression was effective aggression, and it was not. That's the main reason why people thought this fight was a fucking robbery. Because of that, if Golovkin wasn't coming forward the way he was, then they would have thought it was a close fight. Hell, you probably would have had more people thinking Canelo won the fight. But you got to be able to have the eyes to see what's actually going on when things are not apparent. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, when Andre Ward fought Sergey Kovalev, it wasn't apparent as to what he was doing on the inside against Sergey Kovalev, right? It's not as apparent as when you're seeing the shit from the outside.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing here. You have to look between the lines. Golovkin's coming forward. He's coming forward behind his jab, but why is he not going to the body, right? Why is he not unleashing a full 5-punch combination when he's got Canelo up against the ropes? Why is he still standing at mid-range distance? Why isn't he getting a little bit closer to go to his body? Because he's been getting countered in between those exchanges, and you guys aren't seeing that shit. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So without drawing it out more than I already have, the main reason is because they are mistaking all aggression for effective aggression. That's not what it was.
Okay, Bo.
Man, look here. Okay. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, cool. Look here, man. Here's my biggest issue with that fight. Everybody only look at one scorecard, and if you look at one scorecard, the 117, 111 scorecard, yeah, it'll look like a fucking robbery if you look at the one scorecard, right? Okay. But now, if we take into account the other two scorecards, which was one judge had it 115, 113 for Canelo, and one judge had it 150 or like 150, 114, a draw, right? So, my bad. One judge had 115, 113 for Golovkin, and then the other one had the ridiculous scorecard. But if you take that ridiculous scorecard out, and you take the one guy that had it as a draw, and you take the one judge that had it,
one judge had it for Canelo, the other one had it for Golovkin, and the other
one had it a draw.
Yeah, so yeah.
Right. Okay, so that basically tells me, take out the wide fucking scorecard. That basically tells me if there was a round or two that the judge had even saw, we would have had a winner. If there was a round or two that the judge that scored at 115, 113 for Golovkin saw differently, he would have had it as a draw. So if you take out the one obvious scorecard and you look at the other two, right, that alone tells you how close this fucking fight was. But everybody want to bitch and moan about the one scorecard, to where if you look at the scorecards in a whole, take out the one erroneous one and look at the other two, that's the reason, it's like nobody wants to look at them other two and dissect that and break that shit down. Because if either one of them motherfuckers seen a round differently, we would have had a fucking winner.
Or
that alone tells you how close the fight, right? That alone tells you how close the fight was. And also, again, like we said, effective aggressiveness. And Canelo was more successful with his counters, and he made Golovkin miss a lot.
He was the better defensive fighter that night too.
Right, but a lot of people don't look at defense and credit defense. Like it's like all of a sudden now that Floyd is retired, motherfuckers want to forget about defense. Fuck it, we crediting you for showing us good defense. Fuck that.
Hey man, it works in the new NBA. But no.
And apparently college football, you can't have big leads no more.
Oh shit. But no, man, what's up?
Man, I'm gonna come from a different take at this time. I feel like the fanboys were just mad that their favorite fighter didn't get the victory. That's all it was. Screaming out robbery or whatever. Just some people don't know what they're looking at. As we talk about, as we seeing, hey, the first thing they heard was 118, 110. They're like, oh, robbery. And that also goes back to what we also used to say, or Bo would say, or even 2K. People don't know what they're watching. So when they scream robbery, like Tilly has to scream robbery or whatever, and he just said, hey, I had it 118, 110. And all the fanboys, all the casual fans that are highly watching this fight, they're screaming the same thing Telly Atlas, even though he knows what's the truth is. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being biased, he knows what he should be saying. Instead of being a fanboy, whatever he's doing, whatever he's thinking, and he decided to just say, hey, 118, 110. That's my take on it.
Sometimes I think it's just as simple as they believe what they're saying. So to them, it's the truth. The fight seemed to bring out like a lot of fight fans out of the woodwork. Everybody had an opinion on this. That topic went on, I would say, for a good month on social media. It was a great fight. Do you guys feel like that scorecard kind of put a cloud over that fight and maybe made this one like we better get this done quick? 2K?
Yeah, I think it definitely put a cloud on that fight, but I'm not sure it made Oscar De La Hoya or K2 feel like they need to make this fight as soon as possible. I think the fans felt that way. The fans were like, yeah, man, we need to make this rematch like right now. They wanted it the next fucking day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
I don't think the promoters thought that way. If I did have to choose and say, hey, which promoter did think that way, if I was speculating, I would say K2 did more than Oscar did. I think Oscar, in all honesty, would have been like, hey, man, we won. Shit, let's move to the next guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm more inclined for him to think that way because we all know, let's face it, if he loses to Golovkin, hey, that's it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got nobody. That is his cash cow, you know? So I think it definitely put a cloud over what we saw because nobody, no real boxing enthusiast, man, and I hate to disrespect Teddy, but it is what it is, man. I think somebody got to that dude. You know what I'm saying? I think somebody got to him and said, hey, man, this is the agenda. This is what you will now follow, or you will no longer be a fucking boxing personality who makes the money that he makes. You know what I'm saying? There's no fucking way that he could have seen 118, 110 for anybody. You know what I mean? With the type of boxing mind that he has. Okay. So real boxing pundits and real boxing enthusiasts, we know what the fuck we saw. And we saw a very close fight. And just to have that card, you know, I did a video right after this fucking fight, and I talked about all the ridiculous scorecards that were turned in for Canelo fights. You got the 117, 111 by Levy Martinez in the Erislandy Lara fight. You got the 114, 114 by CJ Ross in the Mayweather fight. Okay. You got the fucking 118, 110 in this fight. You got the what was it? 118 to 109 by Stanley Christodoulou in the Austin Trout fight. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, everywhere Canelo goes in a big fight, there's going to be a fucked up scorecard. Yeah, there's absolutely a pattern. You know?
So, Bo, let me flip it to you like this. Do you think that in this fight, the trainers play a bigger role than they did in the first fight?
Most definitely. I think most definitely the trainers play a much bigger role. First off, Canelo people, they're gonna have to do better. And they gave him the right advice as far as telling him to get off the road, but they're gonna have to do better in training camp in instilling in him that you have to make it abundantly fucking clear you won this goddamn fight. They're gonna have to really like drill that in his head. Like, you have to make it abundantly clear you won this fight. If you're getting tired, don't go back to the ropes. Move around, pump your jab, and recover. And then on the flip side over at Abel Sanchez, he's going to have to figure out some kind of way to not so much as teach Golovkin a bunch of new tricks, but he's going to have to teach him one new trick, which is, hey, some kind of move you're going to have to figure out, and when you get him on the ropes, unload.
Head movement, perhaps?
You know? No. That's something that you're not going to teach him. That's just stuck in his head. Okay, maybe teach him how to like throw maybe a small counter or something. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely going to come into play because, you know, this fight. If this fight is a draw again, you know, I know people that was talking about some, you know, they should add 3 more rounds to this fight right now and go back and ring. You know what I'm saying? Do like a WWE thing. Have somebody come out. No, restart this shit. We're going 3 more rounds. You know, so they got to have a winner this time. But yeah, definitely the trainers are going to have to up their game. But the question is, I think you probably may have more success on the Canelo side than you do the Golovkin side because he is a little bit older and more set in his ways. I think the dog must have ate Willie the Kid, man.
For real.
Yeah,
I said, who has the better corner?
Oh, you said who has the better corner?
Yeah.
You know, once upon a time you would have said it was Sanchez, but I don't know no more. That's a tough one, man. I don't know no more. I think with the progression of Canelo, you can kind of say Canelo because the way he fought Golovkin, we saw that progression coming. So man, that's a tough one for me, man. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
But Bernard, who you think has the better corner?
I agree it's a tough one, but I'm gonna give it a slight one to Canelo. Slightly, Canelo has the better corner. He's and I'm gonna say this because they've experienced big fights. They basically took what they learned from in the Mayweather and Lara fight and applied it against Golovkin. Not saying it was the same thing in terms of what they were doing, but the movement, and you saw that.
Bernard, we talked about this a few minutes before you came on. Who you favor in that fight?
Canelo.
Okay. Bo, 2K. Who, in your opinion, has the better corner?
Yeah, this ain't a tough one for me. It's Canelo by far, in my opinion, because when I'm watching the goddamn the first fight and I'm looking at what Abel Sanchez is telling Golovkin, he's not telling him anything. Against Daniel Jacobs, he's not telling him anything there either. it's clear to me that Abel Sanchez is just there as a guy that holds mitts, right? You know, kind of like what what's my man
David
Jackson was for Sergey Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fuck Golovkin is, or I'm sorry, Abel Sanchez is for Golovkin. But the difference is their relationship is much better. They actually like each other. You see what I'm saying? He gave him absolutely no fucking instructions in either of those fights when he was in situations where he needed them, where he was in situations where he needed to make adjustments, right? Canelo's trainer was actually trying to tell him what he needed to do in Spanish, of course, but he was. But Canelo was too fucking tired to be able to execute. You see what I'm saying? That's on the fighter. That's not on the trainer. You know what I mean? So what Abel Sanchez was to Golovkin was what Angel Garcia was to Danny when he fought Keith Thurman. Gave absolutely no fucking instructions.
That's true. Bend your knees, baby. That was an instruction right there.
Yeah,
right?
bend your knees.
I don't care what you say. All right. So to close it out, let me ask you guys this, man. I know you already pretty much answered it, but you all favor Canelo. Give me a quick why, Bernard.
I feel Canelo had experienced the big fight moments, as well as he's going to pick up where he left off in this fight against Triple G. Continue with the movement and everything. I think he'll try to strategize a little bit better with how to handle going in after the 5th round, because I feel like after the 5th round, he kind of he let off the gas. He tried to pull.
He didn't let off the gas. I think he got tired.
Yeah, he got tired. He got gassed out. I felt that in those later rounds, he tried to steal rounds by pulling what Sugar Ray did against Marvin Hagler.
Yeah.
Last minute or 30 seconds, he started letting his hands go. Like he'll do a little bit in the beginning of the round, then he'll do it at the end.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to, if anything, even involve clinching, I believe, in this fight to get Canelo. Not get Canelo, get Triple G. Just continue where he left off.
Disturb his rhythm.
Yeah, but he'll have to be mindful of. I will say this: use Triple G's seek and destroy method against him in this fight, because even though Triple G straightly comes forward, all you gotta do is think back what Bo said: pump that jab and continue to move. Pump that jab and continue to move.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip it on my other two guys. 2K. What does Golovkin have to do to get the win? I went to you first because Bo will be like, huh?
This motherfucker want me to give a breakdown on his goddamn channel. You know I can't do that without giving a thorough breakdown, man.
Hey, give me the short and the dumbed down version for some of those listeners out there that don't know really what they're listening to.
I'm gonna try to give you the high level explanation, man. So the main thing he needs to really understand is to know when to pick his moments. Golovkin. I think in the first fight, I think he really harped on his aggression to be able to give him the win, right? I think he harped on that, regardless of the fact that if he was running into punches or not. He just harped on his aggression. I don't think he really paced himself very well in that fight. He had Canelo down to the point where all you really had to do was blow on that motherfucker, and he might have had to take him knee. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't pace himself well enough to make it to where his, like we talked about earlier a couple times already, to make it to where his aggression would be effective, right? When you're applying effective aggression, you're picking your spots, you're picking your moments, right? You're watching your opponent, you're timing him, all while moving towards him and making him back up, right? All of those things are in play. I didn't see that in this fight coming from Golovkin. I just saw, hey, I'm just going to try to overwhelm the motherfucking. Hopefully I land something. That's what I saw. He can't do that. Especially if Canelo actually goes back in training camp and does work on his stamina like Bo mentioned earlier. Now, that's something that I said he needed to do before the first fight. I said he needed to do that before he fucking fought Erislandy Lara, man.
Yeah, it's something that has been actually hampering his career.
Yeah, he's always Canelo has always fought in spurts. Even when he fucking dismantled James Kirkland, he still fought that fight in spurts. You see what I'm saying? That's why he lost to Austin Trout, in my opinion, because he fought too many of the rounds in spurts, right? So if Canelo goes back and actually magically learns how to not fight in spurts just for this fight, which can happen because Daniel Jacobs actually did a lot of things that he normally doesn't do for that Golovkin fight. Right?
Actually made you give him his name back.
I gave him his name back a long time ago.
Hey, you must shut up. Go ahead.
But you know, he did a lot of things in that fight that he normally doesn't do for that fight. And so Canelo can come in here and do the same shit because this is a high-level fight. And if that becomes one of those things, well, then that's what Golovkin is going to have to do, man. He's going to have to pace himself much better because if he doesn't, man, he's going to be running into a hell of a lot more shots than he was in the first fight. And this will be by a conditioned fighter instead of just a tired one.
I got to ask you a question. You said everything harps down to effective aggression. Do you think that the moment got to Golovkin?
Nah, I think Golovkin's I think he's an even kill dude. I think Golovkin is one of those guys that really he's really invested in his own abilities. You know what I'm saying? He understands what he can do in there. He's not a guy that gets flustered or anything like that. I just think that he saw a tired fighter and he just didn't have the right game plan and trying to exploit that tired fighter. That's just what it boils down.
I asked you that because at the beginning of the fight, he seemed like he had like a little bit of jitters.
Well, I mean, you got to understand these are two high-level fights. I mean, it was the same way with Daniel Jacobs, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think he understood that he's not fighting, Willie Monroe. You know what I'm saying? I always forget the other nigga that he fought.
Wade?
Yeah, Dominic Wade. He's not fighting those guys. You know, he's not fighting Gregor's Proxa. You know what I'm saying? He understands that. So he in the beginning of fights, he paces himself properly. You know, but it just fell by the wayside at the end, towards the end of this fight.
Well, Cuban.
Yo, what's your question for me? You say you're gonna switch.
No, same as 2K, man. What does Golovkin have to do to win?
Wow.
I mean, you don't have to touch up if you feel like he touched up on everything that you was gonna say.
Well,
then,
you know what? Number one for Golovkin to win. He has to find his jab, the jab that he had against David Lemieux. He's got to find that damn jab and reestablish that jab and maintain that jab. That's something he'd have to do, especially when he gets Canelo on the ropes. Don't just charge in on him. When you get him on the ropes, jab at him to pause him or hesitate him, then try to throw a big bomb. Don't just try to throw a big bomb right away.
The one thing with that is that make cats might have made him a little hesitant in the first fight, man. Is Canelo's actually become a good counterpuncher after the Mayweather fight. He really improved that in that aspect. He was always a counterpuncher. People don't really know that about him, but he improved in that aspect a little more. I felt like Canelo did some things to negate some of the things that he wanted to do. But like 2K said, I felt like he could have rolled them over later on in the fight, but he was kind of like rushing in, man, like you just said, and he really he was kind of sloppy at times for most of that fight. And I like 2K said, I think if he paces himself, he has the right game plan, he sees the target, attacks the target, but strategically he could probably do something. I don't know, man. It's an interesting fight. I always favor the guy that can make the most adjustments. Sometimes, like going into the Andre Ward-Kovalev fight, I favor Andre Ward in both fights. But in the second fight, I favor Andre Ward even more. I don't know if that could make sense. But I don't know, man. I just think it's a lot of interesting dynamics. But
you know why?
It could be as simple as him starting a little earlier than he did.
Go ahead, 2K. I know why you favored Andre Ward more in the second fight, and it's because of the ring IQ.
Right.
You know, when you rematch a guy like Andre Ward or Floyd Mayweather, you know, and I can go back in the time, Sugar Ray Robinson. When you rematch guys like that, they have the ring IQ to be able to make the adjustments. If you're not the type of fighter that can have a plan A, B, C, D, and then have sub plans A1, A2, B1, B2, literally against these guys, well, then you're gonna lose. If you come in there doing the same shit, you're gonna fucking lose. You know what I'm saying? A perfect example was when Sugar Ray Robinson lost to Randy Turpin over in the UK. He lost to him. Then they had an immediate rematch over here in the States. Sugar Ray Robinson laid him the fuck out like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
same thing with Jake LaMotta.
Yeah, same thing. Oh, he fought Jake LaMotta like 4 or 5 times, I believe.
I mean, the first time he fought him, he lost. Then he fought a guy 8 days later. Then 20 days later, fought another guy. Then he just mollywopped Jake LaMotta. And after that,
right. But my point is, he fought him 4 times after he lost to him and mollywopped him 4 times. That's my point. So, but you know, that's why you pick a guy like Andre Ward. Now, Canelo, in my opinion, does not have the IQ like those guys do. But he is in my opinion, and niggas might think that I'm tripping when I say this, I think Canelo is a smarter fighter. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I know.
Well, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me explain why he's a smarter fighter. And because
go ahead.
And from an experience standpoint, look at who he's been in the ring with.
Yeah.
That's why he's a smart fighter. Like, I'm not knocking Daniel Jacobs, but Daniel Jacobs ain't no Austin fucking Trout.
Not that Austin Trout, no.
Right, that Austin Trout he faced at that time.
Hey, hold on, motherfucker.
You know?
Hey, I didn't say it right. Hey. Not the one that beat the motherfucking shit out of Miguel Cotto with a jab. Not that one.
I 5'7" Miguel Cotto. All right, so get the fuck out of here. Daniel Jacobs is better than Austin Trout in my mind, but I'm biased because I'm from fucking Brooklyn. So fuck your Chicago ass.
And that's why he had the puffy face and Peter Quill in his own jiggly legs. But anyway,
but at least we got fighters.
Damn, they got Andres Fanfara.
Hey man, hold on, man. Stop.
Wait, my bad. You got Granados and you got what's his name?
Prezo Kendo.
Yeah, grandfather and shit. Prezo Kendo went to high school with you, motherfucker. Fuck out of here.
Prezo Kendo didn't go to high school with me, but I know what you're saying.
I mean, before you did.
Motherfucker, he didn't go to high school. But yeah, if you look at the guys who fought, but you know what else though? Because you said, what does he have to do to win this fight? Abel Sanchez is gonna have to step his fucking game up as well.
Great answer.
Like my man 2K alluded to, he wasn't giving him no advice in the corner. Why? Because they've always been able to count on this man's fucking power.
Benoit, you want to add to that?
No, I agree with everything that these guys said on the panel.
Damn, man, you're such a great help. Detective B, I'm sorry, man, because you probably disappointed about this fight because I know you were hoping to look for a fighter, but it won't be these two cats. I would say this, man. I give props to both of these guys for getting this fight done. I give props to Fishnets, aka Oscar De La Hoya, for getting this fight done. I give props to K2 for getting this fight done, man. I really didn't think that. I mean, I know we've been announcing it on 3kingsboxing.com. People, if you want to go see the article about the fight being announced and all of that, it's on the website. You can go check it out. But I was one of those people, I'm not going to believe it till I see it. You know what I mean? And Golden Boy actually proved me wrong, man. I said this fight is going to get done a year from now, back when they first happened. So good to see them get it back on track. Cinco de Mayo. Should be an exciting time for fans. It's going to be a great fight.
Órale, Cinco de Mayo, ese Canelo.
Hey, Holmes, stop that shit. But this is one of those fights, man, that 2018, fellas, has to start it right. With Shields, Peterson, Spence, and a few other things being announced.
To answer that question for you, okay, everybody who's listening, head over to 3kingsboxing.com. check the homepage and look at the 5-star fights that we got for this year. I mean, it's an excellent year already. Lamont Peterson, Errol Spence, Maris Bradis versus Alexander Usyk, Merrick Gassiev, Junior Dodikos. I could keep going. Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, Keith Thurman, Jesse Vargas, Canelo, Golovkin. There's a lot of great fights.
So
it's a good Danny Garcia and Brandon Rios.
Hey,
anyway.
I will say this, man. Somebody always used to say this. I mean, they're kind of older, so I gotta say it. But because this time I really mean it, it's a good time to be a fucking boxing fan, man.
Yeah.
So 2K, why don't you tell the listeners where they can find you, man?
You can definitely find me at Prodigy of Boxing Talk. You can find me on all of these guys' platforms. Definitely be doing a lot of guest appearances, man. Trying to get my guys out there to represent the movement. Shout out to people who've been shouting out my man Willie the Kid from Eastwick Boxing. You know what I'm saying? He's a new kid into the game, and he's already getting shout outs. That's what's up. You know, representing the movement in the right way. But yeah, man, if y'all ain't got with us already, like I said, you know, the movement's gonna keep moving, whether you with us or you not. Also, don't forget, like I just mentioned, visit our webpage, 3kingsboxing.com. There's a lot of good information on there.
Yeah, man. Bernard?
You can find me on Instagram at The Movement BP, on Twitter at The Movement Boxing. You can also find me in the Movement Facebook group, as well as Eastwood Boxing and other boxing groups that I'm in. We Live Sleep Boxing, Supreme Championship Boxing, all those, and also on Truth and Facts About Boxing on YouTube. And I'll be guest appearing on this as well, Eastwick Boxing.
Yes, sir. Bo?
Of course, Truth and Facts About Boxing. Also go to the page on Facebook. You know, I got the own page up, thanks to these gentlemen.
Wait. Tell them again, bro.
Truth and Facts About Boxing. I got the page up on Facebook.
That's right.
That's right. We got it up. We're doing big things. 2018 is a no holds barred, fuck you if you can't take a joke type of year, and that's real shit for me.
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is, and of course, you know, be on the lookout. You know, Colossal Boxing, 3 Kings Boxing, 4 Corners Boxing. All y'all out there that shouting out one, you're giving praise to all because we are a unit. And at the end of the day, fuck Willie the Kid because he's gonna say some bullshit before this podcast is over.
Well, man, what I want to say is you guys got a little bit of an abundance of knowledge, and really not to even the full extent, man. It's been a pleasure having you gentlemen on. To you fans out there, man, instead of complaining about the fight or the outcome of the fight, try enjoying it. Because you really miss a lot of shit, man, when you get filled with hate and bias and all of that. Everybody has their guy, man, but I appreciate these guys, man, all of them. Yeah. Except for Danny Garcia. But
hey, hold on, Will.
And Adonis Stevenson.
Hold on, Will. I want to say something to the gentleman that got something to say about when we was talking about the Adrian Broner situation. Yo, dog, stop putting words in motherfuckers' mouth, man. Just because you jock riding Jerry Hurd, don't get mad because we telling the truth about your fighter. And fuck you if you can't take a joke too.
Oh shit. So my whole point is, man, enjoy the game, man. It's gonna give you a lot of good things this year. I just have that feeling, man. It's gonna be a booming year in the sport. I'm Willie the Kid. I'm part of 3kingsboxing.com. I'm a writer. I'm also the co-founder there. You can find me on there. You can find me on Truth and Facts About Boxing. You can find me on the Prodigy of Boxing. All these different channels. You can find me on 4 Corners Boxing Talk, on Block Talk Radio. I'm with my co-host. Shout out Chris Bone Henderson. Shout out to all the guys that do the things for all the little things for us behind the scenes, man. We really appreciate y'all, man. Too many of y'all to name. We got AC Cooper coming out of the UK with his own channel. So we're coming, man. It's just a matter of time. Whether you get with it or you're gonna have to get with it anyway. You ain't gonna have no choice. But it is what it is, man. Once again, man, I'm Willie the Kid. This is Eastwick Boxing Talk. When shit gets real, 1.